Have you got the spark back now, Paul? Then is that adrenaline being met now? That need for that adrenaline being met?
Yeah. So when Noah said, actually, you know, it depends how you look at it. I always wanted to be a racing driver as a kid, and it was one of those, when kids say I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a racing driver. Lots of kids say it, and I was one of them. But I knew in my heart it would never happen. So when I managed to get into motorcycle racing, I was like, wow, you know, obviously not going to make a racing driver, but this is as close as I'm going to bloody get, and it's really amazing that I've managed to get into this. So when I managed to convert that into car racing through the accident I had and getting onto the Team BRIT, that was my ticket to, you know, the thing I'd always wanted to do. I had no idea that was the journey I was going to take to get there, but it all came true, and it all, you know, in a really weird way, it all worked out.
It's great. No wrong path.
Yeah,
no wrong path.
There's a really weird path, and I think I took the weird path route. But I wouldn't change it for the Tea in China. I've ended up right where I wanted to be.
That's really interesting. But I have heard that Noah might be a bit quicker than you.
Noah, I should blooming hope so. I've told him everything I know. So if he's not quick, it's going to just go wrong.
I was going to say you're enjoying yourself, but Noah, I think you're exceeding every level, aren't you, at the moment? It's sort of meeting what you want.
God, I feel like every single time I'm at the track, there are still mountains of things I need to improve on and learn. But that's what I absolutely love about, you know, sports like this, and which is what drove me to do sports like that before, is being not great at it and getting to the absolute best level I possibly can. And this is motorsport. It has been the most humbling sport I've ever done. It's so difficult, and I absolutely love that, because I feel miles away from where I really want to be, but that just gives me all the more to push for.
Wow. Well, from my point of view, since I met you guys, whatever it was, 5 weeks ago, and every time we've spoken, the thing that comes across for me is you guys have just got so much positive energy. You're always smiling. You're always like just going, yeah, you're a positive. Positive. I'm going to go cheeky as well, because I'm going to get a feeling that you two get up to some real mischief, right? Yeah. So it was a pleasure to meet you then. It's a pleasure to chat through with you now, and thank you so much for sharing your journey. It links in quite nicely to, we asked people within our Outward network for a few questions that they would like to ask you, and I think this links in quite nicely. So Lee Howarth, who is involved in manufacturing and engineering, one of his questions was, where do you find and draw your inspiration to overcome daily challenges? No, I'm going to come to you on that, and I'm going to underpin it with a different question. Do you see daily challenges, or what's your outlook every day when you get up? Do you see challenges, and if you do, how do you overcome them, or what's your mindset every day?
Well, actually, like what I was just saying, my whole life I've almost searched for challenges, maybe not as nuts as the ones I've got now, but that's always given me a drive to get up and get on with things, and I enjoy challenges. So having the incredible challenge of being introduced to a completely new life, I see it in a way of something to overcome and not let beat me, rather than something that has changed my life, possibly for the worse. But I think my outlook on things that are tough is just do it as well as you possibly can. So something like this, I can't let really affect me in a negative way. Otherwise, it's just an awfully slippery slope from there.
Yeah. Paul, where do you sort of draw your inspiration?
Noah's definitely hit it on the head there, and also being part of this team.
I was going to say that too. Yeah.
No matter what challenges you think you have, the driver's
there's always someone else.
There's always there's always another challenge or a different challenge, And from that point of view, being here makes it very humbling, and it puts perspectives on whatever challenge you might be going through, because there might be nothing compared to the man or lady next to you. But I always found that the skill in life is not identifying the challenges as positive or negative, but I think finding, if you've got the skill to find the positive in any situation, because there's always a positive in situation. Lost a leg, ended up being a racing driver. That's definitely a positive rather than anything else. They let you park anywhere. You've got double the amount of socks that you need in your life. All that. There's always the skill is finding that positive, and once you latch onto that, everything else becomes easier, because there is always one if you know how to look for it.
Love that. I love that. So the other questions, and I think we might have covered this one, but let's just make sure that we do ask this. So this is from Sam Bainham, who runs a manufacturing and engineering organisation. What did you think you'd end up doing after school? Well, I think, Paul, I don't know, Paul. Paul hasn't got a clue, but we've got a list this long now for Paul, haven't we? We know that he wanted to be a racing driver, but he didn't think he could, but he's become one. He thought he might be a musician.
Yeah, there was lots of things. I remember seeing my careers advisor, and there was like an 8-page form with tick boxes, and it said, do you strongly agree that you're sporty, or less agree, or average agree? And it had hundreds of questions all like this, and it profiled you. And at the end of it, it said I wanted to be an archaeologist or something. And I did like Indiana Jones films, and I did go and have an interview at a university for archaeology, but it was so far off the mark. And I sort of left school thinking, God, even they don't know what I want to do, and I've done all this surveying. So yeah, it was a thoroughly confusing time. And like I said, I think just doing something until you find, either through accident or through kind of divine intervention, what you want to do. Just grab something that you can do it as well as you can, make mates, make contacts, go out in the world, find sports, and just have a lovely time. And eventually you'll fall into your groove. I know I did, and I know most of my friends who felt the same have ended up doing things that they love, either through completely wrong paths like mine, or planned paths like they had. But eventually, if you just keep going, you will get there.
Yeah, it's very much, I think, about this attitude and approach, and really, like we keep saying, there isn't any wrong path. Now, was there anything else that you wanted, when you were at school? Was there anything else that sort of sparked a bit of, I might want to do that, rather than doing the racing?
Yeah, well, like I briefly touched on earlier, film and art has been a huge interest for forever, really. And I really would have loved to go into something creative with either of those things. Specifically, I don't know, because there's so many different routes down there, but I've always had a passion for that film, and I was at my school on an art scholarship, and it was kind of something that a talent that I've had since a really young age, and it's something I don't think I've wanted to really throw away, because I feel like I would regret it in the future if I didn't do something with that. So yeah, that was it. But
watch this space. I have a feeling we've got to watch this space on what Noah's career is going to be. This multiple.
He is really talented. Some of his work is absolutely it's amazing. You need to go and check it.
Okay, you just said we need to go and check it out. Do you have an Instagram? This is new to me. I'm like, what have you got?
I've got a few things that are not under wraps, but haven't been put on anywhere on the internet yet, because it's a whole series that I'm about to print and sell. Hopefully sell. That's very confidently, but there's nothing actually quite on the internet yet.
Okay, we will keep an eye out for your name, and Paul, I expect you to share it when it all becomes live. Noah, then, I think Paul alluded to this one, but Julie Popperton, who is the Director of Careers Education for one of the MATs in Staffordshire, said, what was the careers advice like for you at school? I think Paul's alluded, so we'll come back to Paul in a minute, but Noah, what was yours?
I remember I vaguely remember going through the process that Paul just spoke about, filling those forms, and they bring back what you said, but that was all really vague to me, and I actually cannot remember for the life of me what they said, but I do remember thinking that's not right.
Memorable then.
And yeah,
memorable
exactly.
for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, exactly. But on the other hand, the school was quite supportive with different routes. So having film studies, for example, as a A-level, and there were a lot of other things similar to that. So I feel like there was always support. It wasn't really the idea of, oh, go off and be a lawyer or a bank, whatever, I don't know. But I think it was quite out of the ordinary for me to kind of have motocross on my mind rather than all these other things, because when it came around to applying to unis, I didn't want to go to uni, and I was in quite a weird limbo zone, because I did fly a bit under the radar for that reason. So
yeah,
it was all a bit vague and weird for me.
Yeah. I think a set of circumstances, I think, to take a positive from what you've said, I think it's nice to hear that the support was there. So you're potentially quite a unique case of what people. So as long as there was the supportiveness there, I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, the school gave me time off school to practice riding my bike. So
oh wow, okay, yeah,
they were very good with that, to be fair.
Yeah, and I think it's looking at how we support people with careers, not by a traditional questionnaire.
Exactly. Yeah.